Hello everyone, welcome to a Paper Flourish craft video. My name is Julie. Today's video I'm going to have a play with mirror stamping. Now I've had a request, thank you very much Ruth for that inquiry about using the gel press to do some mirror stamping. So we're going to have a play with that today. And by gel press, they come in different shapes and sizes. The one I'll probably use today is this one, 4-inch circle. But of course, Lavinia make the gel presses, the squarely, the bob long. You could use any gel press for this. Now the other item I'm going to use, Stampendous make a mirror stamping plate, and it's for the purpose of doing the mirror image of your stamp. Now it's really interesting because this is what you'll find when you do stamp. It does tell you that the mirror image may be slightly lighter, and yes it is. You will not get as dark an image as you would if you stamped it straight out. It will always be a little bit lighter. And I've been having a play with this, different stamps. It's been interesting. Sometimes the gel press has given me a little bit better image. Sometimes the stamping plate has. Different stamps work better than others. So I thought by having a bit of a play with them as well might give you some ideas as to how to go about this. This works extremely well if you want to do for example, a reflection, because a reflection would tend to be a little bit lighter image. So it works extremely well. To get a really dark mirror image is really hard. But anyway, we're going to give it a go and we'll see. Now, I am going to stamp on Lavinia multifarious cardstock because that is what I would use for my card fronts. I've got my Versafine Clair Nocturne ink pad. I grabbed the Rainforest as well. Thought we might as well give it a try with a different colour. Lavinia acrylic plate to pop the stamp on. And now the Stampendous stamping plate kind of looks like a thin gel press. See here, it's rubbery. So, and it's been made for that purpose. I also like to use this for smushing of the ink. I find it really good, but it has been brought out as a mirror stamping plate. And we do have these in stock at Paper Flourish, in store and online. So I've got my multifarious card ready, my stamping mirror plate and the gel press. Now I've got a selection of Lavinia stamps here. What I found is the smaller the stamp, the better chance you've got of getting a good image. So these little birds are not too bad. I tried this lovely hair. This is Yet Lupin. Being an outline, sometimes the outline stamps work a little bit better than the solid ones. However, that's not always the case. And it's just a matter of playing with the stamps and seeing what's going to work. I had a little bit of success with these, the fairy foragers. Tiny little fairy, more of an outline but with the solid body, but they stamped okay. Tia's an interesting one. Being a solid stamp, you'll see it's not easy to get a good mirror image of Tia because she's a solid stamp. Bogart, the frog, worked brilliantly. So good. Now the mice, they did okay. Who have I got here? Tilly and Tango. They did well. And I also tried the slightly larger Fip and not too bad. So we're going to have a bit of a play with these today. So let's start with one of the birds. Let's go with maybe this little one. So you want to put the bird on your card, but the bird's facing the other way. You want it to face the different direction. So let's try first. I'm going to ink up the bird with the Nocturne Versafine Clair. Now when you press, I'll start with the gel press. These are really jelly-like, so you can't push it down really hard. You just want to stamp it on top to get the image. It's not going to be great because I didn't do a great job of that, but we'll give it a go. And I'm going to stamp that, turn it over and press it onto the card. So we've got our mirror image. You can see it's missed a couple of little areas, but it's still decent depth of colour there. Not too bad. Baby wipe it off the gel press or the stamping plate straight away. Dry it with a paper towel because the next time I want to do my stamp on there, I don't want that to be wet. Now let's try stamping this dear little bird on the Stampendous stamping plate. Same thing. Now these are a little bit firmer to stamp on, so it's a little bit easier to work on than a gel press. Give me a nice solid image there on the plate. Let's see how we go when we stamp that onto the multifarious card. Come out a little bit, see how it's come out lighter? So I've probably left more ink on the stamping plate this time than I have with the gel press. So probably the gel press has worked a little bit better with that little stamp. And I said, I've just found it really is a matter of just playing and trying it out. So that's the little bird. And that's from the bird collection. They are a really cute set of stamps. They've just come out in Lavinia's latest release of stamps. Let's have a look at FIP. So FIP, we're going with a slightly larger stamp this time. I'm going to be cleaning everything as I go because I don't want to leave the ink on the presses or on the plate. Oh, that's helpful, isn't it? I was going to put it onto my gel press. How about I put it on the acrylic plate? Okay, so let's ink FIP up with the Nocturne. Give it a good inking. First up, so now we're going with a much larger stamp. Popping on the gel press again. I can't push down too much. I'll squish the stamp into it. Just got to go light with the gel press. So again, I want a FIP on my cup, or I might want a reflection of FIP. So let's stamp it onto the multifarious, press it down off the gel press, take it away, and it's given me a fairly decent image, but it's left some little bits and pieces there. But you can see it will make a really good reflection. I mean, like that. But I've got my mirror image there, because that is how the stamp is normally, and now we've got the mirror image. Let's try it on the Stampendous Stamping Plate. So, of course, now we're talking about a much larger stamp. And I've just knocked my Nocturne everywhere. Here we go. Okay. Again, much firmer the stamping plate, so it's a little bit easier to stamp onto. And here's the stamping plate. I do find the stamping plate though probably holds onto the ink a little bit more, so you end up with a much lighter image. So larger stamp hasn't worked as well on your stamping plate as it has on a gel press. As I said, it's not always the case. Sometimes I've found the stamping plate gives me a better image. Okay. I'll just say, if you have a stamp and you want that mirror image, or maybe to do a reflection, give it a try. Play first, work out if it's going to work or not. All right, so that's FIP. So I said larger stamp, you don't get the best results with. Now Bogart, smaller stamp, little frog. Again, swimming in the water, maybe you want Bogart to face the other direction. Let's bring the gel press in first. Dry off. I think we're going to try the rainforest this time, because frogs can be green, can't they? We'll have green Bogart. Here we are. Stamp it onto the gel press. Got the impression you can see it there on the gel press. Let's pop it over onto the multifarious. Take it away, and we've got a really good impression. So being more of an outline stamp, you find the mirror image just seems to work better. Also being a smaller stamp, you seem to get that little bit better impression. Let's try it with the Stampendous Stamping Plate. Bogart, don't you just love that name? Frog called Bogart. I reckon that's pretty cool. Okay. Given a good impression on the stamping plate, let's see how we go when we transfer that over to the multifarious. And that's given a great impression. Now this is a case where your stamping plate's done better than your gel press. So I said I'd love to say there's a rule here, always do one way or always do the other. Not always. This has got some quite fine detail in it, smudged a little on the gel press. With the firmer stamping plate, I've got a much better image, but that's given a great impression. It's worked extremely well, but even on both, it's done okay on both. But you can see the difference there between doing more solid stamps and the outline, how much better it is. So So that's what I found. The outline stamps seem to work better with this. All right, which one should we try next? Tia. Let's have a look at Tia. Not a large stamp, but a solid stamp. We're going to make Tia green as well. Quite like the green. First up, we will stamp Tia the Fairy onto the gel press. I'm not sure if you can hear Murphy in the background there. At the moment, my son and his fiancée, their cats are staying with us, and they're in my son's bedroom. Murphy's meowing at the bedroom door, I think. As I said, if we let them out, they tend to fight. Here we go. All right, so now this is on the gel press. Not too bad. Missed a little bit, got some little bits and pieces, but again, as a reflection, be okay. But you've actually got a fairly strong image there. So that came off your gel press. Now we'll try it on the Stampendous Stamping Plate. Ink up Tia. But you'll find it's a lot easier. You won't get as much movement on the stamping plate when you're stamping it as you would on the gel press. The gel presses are a lot bouncier and just not as solid as your stamping plate. Okay, there we are, but certainly got a stronger image this time off the gel press than off your stamping plate. But as a reflection, that will be fine. Will look okay. All right, but you can see where a more solid stamp, you're not getting as good a result as we did with dear old Bogart. Bogart was a real champ there. Okay, so there's Tia. Now, I did find the mice worked well. Being a smaller, again, they're a solid stamp, but being smaller, seem to have a bit more success with those. So here's Tilly and Tango. I'm not sure if this is Tilly or if it's Tango. We'll go back to the black this time, the Nocturne, give it a good inking up. Start with the gel press. Make sure that's nice and dry, which it is. There we go. And pop that over onto the multifarious. I can see it's missed a couple of little areas. Not too bad. That's come out quite solid. I've just missed a couple of little bits that didn't quite go onto the plate properly. All right, same thing on the stamping plate. Whoops. Here we go. So again, it's just a matter of trying different stamps. See which one is going to give you the best results. Now I can see this has given a really good impression on the stamping plate. Let's see how we go when we stamp it onto the multifarious. Not too bad. So again, come out a little bit lighter, but that's fine. So that's stamped not too bad. It's got a more of a solid image this time than here, but you can see the gel press tends to give you a little bit darker image. All right. So they didn't do too bad. Smaller stamp, still solid, but smaller size. Now the other, oh, now this will be interesting. Just got two more stamps we're going to try to see how we go with these. First one, let's go with one of the fairy foragers. So you've got this lovely little fairy with the lamp. Let's do that one. But she's facing one way and we want her to face the other direction. There we go. Let's stamp her. Let's pop her first onto the gel press. Nice and dry. Gently pressing it down, because you'll feel it, it wobbles around on the gel press. A little bit harder to use, but it works. Now she's quite a fine little fairy and she's stamped really well. So the mirror image has turned out really well there with the gel press. now the stamping plate. Let's see how we go this time. Whoop. Of course, I'm doing this straight onto white card. Sometimes if you're putting these images onto, say, a blended background of colour, it wouldn't be as obvious that it's not quite as dark an image. Okay, here we go. So again, she's worked okay on the stamping plate, but got a better image off the gel press that time. I can probably see a little bit finer detail on the stamping plate. Okay, so that's the fairy forages. You can see I'm getting different results with different stamps. Bogart at the moment is still shining through as the absolute winner. Bogart did well. Now we're going to try something completely different. Let's turn that over. And I've got Lupin. Big rabbit, but more of an outline than a solid rabbit. So let's give Lupin a try. Lupin is going to be not green. We're not going to go with the Nocturne. We're going to go with a brown colour. Let's try Pinecone. So first up, I'm going to use the gel press. So let's ink up Lupin. Lupin is one of the newer Lavinia stamps as well, their latest release. Not only get Lupin as like this type of image, but you can also get a solid stamp as well, the silhouette stamp of Lupin. It's gorgeous. Gel press first. You can see the image there on the gel press. And let's stamp onto here. So again, we're thinking of this more of an outline stamp rather than a silhouette, the solid stamps. A much larger one. Let's see how this has turned out. That's done pretty well, hasn't it? That's stamped okay. All right, let's try on the stamping plate and see if we can get as good an image. Wonder if the colours helped a bit too. Maybe the, I don't know, should it really? It shouldn't matter which colour ink I'm using, but sometimes I think sometimes the black is a little bit more obvious if it's as dark or not. Now, stamped up, same, just using that brown ink, stamping plate. Okay, got our image on there. Let's pop it onto the paper. That turned out brilliantly. So it's probably blurred a little bit more on the gel press, but that's given a really good image using the stamping plate. And I think maybe the coloured ink has helped as well. So keep that in mind as well. Not always black. Go with some of your colours, and it might not be as obvious that it's just that little bit lighter in colour than your stamped image. So I'm hoping that's given you a bit of help and a bit of an idea of what to do with the mirror image stamping. As I said, just play with the stamps. I wouldn't have thought a big stamp like Lupin would have worked, but it's worked a treat. I think maybe even Lupin might win over Bogart. Bogart's pretty good, but Lupin, I think, might be the winner there. To clean up your stamping plate, your stamps, and your also your gel press, there is a gel press conditioner you can get to give that a good clean. I like to give everything a spray with I like the Ranger water-based stamp cleaner. When I'm using these pigment inks, that works up a treat. So I'm just going to give all of that a spray, give it a good clean, and we're done. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. I'll be back soon with a lot more videos. Thank you very much. Bye.